This episode is best enjoyed with earphones on. Well, this is it. The moment we've all been waiting for.
Are we ready for this?
I don't think we have much of a choice at this point.
Wait, a beach? I didn't see this coming.
It's peaceful.
Where did we possibly land?
No idea. But it's beautiful. And look, it's almost sunset.
What about the orb? Is the peace truly here?
Oh, yeah, it says it's down there, somewhere in the sea. I hope you all know how to swim.
Oh hey, don't worry about this. I've got you covered. I'll just become a dolphin and fetch the piece easily.
Alright, Sionnach. Go have fun. Meanwhile, we'll just sit back and wait for you to return.
Just don't get lost out there.
I won't. I'll be back before you know it.
How long do you think this will take her?
Probably a while. She'll get distracted by the water, no doubt. Let's sit over there while we wait. You know, Sionnach used to tell stories about you, Faar. She was always talking about you like you were some kind of dream. And honestly, for a while I even thought she'd made you up. But I've never seen her believe in something or someone so deeply. Her heart is so big. It could swallow this entire sea. And anyone lucky enough to live there, well, they'd never want to leave. But you kept her name as a memory. And that has to mean something to you too, doesn't it?
Guys, I found it!
Whoa, that was fast.
The fish helped a lot.
Of course.
Here.
Thanks.
Lovette, what's wrong? What did you see?
A ceremony? People in hoods, chanting. I wasn't myself. I was someone else standing among them. There was a table, and the artifact was on it. Whoever it was, cut his hand. But just a scratch. A few drops of blood fell on it. And then it reacted. The moment the blood touched it, it glowed, like it was waking up. I think that was the moment it was activated, but I don't know what happened after that.
Blood. There must certainly be a ritual with blood required to make this orb work. I've had my fair share of them.
You are a warlock, right?
Am I? No. Don't think I am. But I used to be.
Used to be? Does that mean you were able to break your contract? How?
You can never break a contract like this. Only your patron can do that.
And how can that happen?
If they grow bored of you or disappointed in you, it usually ends in death. But that depends on the patron. For me, it was death. Always has been death. I don't know why I said that. I have no specific memory of these events, just thoughts.
Faar, don't get yourself so worked up. It's fine now.
Yes.
Hey, look! Something's going on there. Let's go take a look. It's almost night, and it's too dangerous to search for the portal in a dark place we don't know anything about. Right?
Lovette's right. Let's do that.
Welcome to another episode of the B&D podcast. Today's episode hit hard, emotionally, I mean. And since we're already deep in our feelings, we thought it was the perfect time to talk about one of the most powerful storytelling mediums out there, video games. But not the big budget corporate titles. Today we're shining a light on the incredible work of indie developers. And for a topic like this, there was one person who felt like the perfect fit to join the conversation.
We are really excited today for having Jamie with us, the master of indie games and storytelling, Zephyrus himself, who agreed to join us to discuss about indie games which, trust us, require everyone's attention and have so much potential. We are always about supporting independent game companies that deserve more recognition, so we loved the idea of mentioning some of them and their games here today in hopes of inspiring you to maybe play any of them. So, welcome, Jamie.
Welcome!
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And of course, I should mention not just Zephyrus, but also Garrick the gnome. Of course, he was a gnome.
Of course, a gnome.
So, Jamie is a fellow TTRPG enthusiast who's currently writing and running his own homebrew campaign. We also all play together in a Vampire the Masquerade game, but today we're mainly focusing on another side of his passion, gaming, which also happens to be his profession. So, Jamie, let's start from the top. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and your professional background?
Yes, of course, I'd love to. So, yeah, I've been playing video games and tabletop games for years and years, like almost my whole life. But very recently, I've started studying in game design and development at Abertay University here in Scotland. Within that, we're actually encouraged to play games with a more critical outlook, let's say, looking at the more business side and just learning how to incorporate these things into games themselves. So I've been able to turn this hobby and passion of mine into something more of a, how would you say, a profession.
That's a blessing, to be fair, to do your hobby
Yes,
as a profession.
Absolutely. Never work a day in your life, as they say.
Exactly. With that, I want to start from the bottom and go all the way up to the top one, your best one, your top 5, actually. So
Okay,
which
sounds
game is at the bottom of your top 5 indie games?
Well, it's interesting because all of these games are very good. Obviously, a lot of work's been put into them. They're amazing in their own right. But yes, I've put them into an order of my own preferences. So starting at number 5, we've got Pizza Tower by the developer Tour de Pizza. And this game, it's a frantic, chaotic love letter to old games like Wario Land 4. You play as a manic Italian chef called Peppino Spaghetti on a mission to destroy a tower full of surreal dangers. The gameplay is lightning-fast blend of precise movement, expressive animation, and just sheer nonsense.
Okay, I see that now because I just searched for it. First, it looks delicious. I'm hungry. Secondly, it reminds me of Mario, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got it's probably inspired by that with the whole Italian chef thing and with being so associated with the Wario Land series. But yeah, it's a great game. Obviously, very crazy, but it was a tiny team led by one dev called Tour de Pizza, and it was made over 5 years. So this was sent back and forth between like the crowd and the developers. So they're very transparent about development, with like small funds coming from the fans to make it a reality.
The only question I've got is, can you make a pizza in this game?
You can't. There's no making of pizza. You pick up like food items as like collectibles, and a lot of the enemies are pizza themed.
Okay.
But yeah, no actual making of it.
Like a pineapple pizza would be my worst enemy.
For
Yes,
sure.
likely.
But
I'm
you
sure
can make a
that.
pizza in real life so you can eat while you play. I don't know.
That's true.
Absolutely, all for the immersion, right?
So, which game is getting 4th place on your list?
Okay, so moving on to number 4, and it felt bad to put it so low on the list because it's one of my favorites, but there's better ones out there too. Number 4 would be Shovel Knight by Yacht Club Games. Now, that's Shovel Knight is a beautiful 8-bit love letter to the NES era, where you play as a little knight on his noble quest across the land to defeat the Enchantress and fight the Order of No Quarter.
I think I've seen some art-inspired posts from this game, but it sounds it seems so epic. Is it pixelated?
It's pixelated, yes, and the all the soundtrack is chip-tuned, but it's not restricted by this old-fashioned style. It kind of adopts it and improves it into something more modern.
And what about the story behind it?
Well, the story behind it is, Shovel Knight and Shield Knight, they were 2 knights that traveled together, but they go to the Tower of Fate one day and Shield Knight falls away, leaving Shovel Knight all very depressed and tilling his fields with his shovel. But he sees the tower emerge, and all these evil knights come to the land, so he sets out on his quest to find Shield Knight and fight the Enchantress. And it's very cute, it's very colourful, there's a lot of nice characters, good enemy designs. It's not too hard, but the further down you get, the later on you get, it does get a bit trickier as well.
It sounds a bit nostalgic in a way, like the way that you're describing the story. Sounds like an old game, basically.
Yes. No, that's probably part of their whole reason for making it as well, like feeding into these older themes. But as I said, they took it, they modernized it, and they really got the audience for people who loved these older games. Again, this was a Kickstarter sort of thing, so it was very much funded by the crowd, and it was overfunded by the crowd, so it had so many DLCs, it had a fighting game attached to it, various other things, and it just turned into something a lot bigger than the original pitch.
I see that it went out in 2014. Okay, it's a 10 years game, but it seems legit.
Yes, I'd absolutely recommend playing Shovel Knight. I think it's really for everyone.
We should try it. But what about your third place? What would you choose?
Okay, so for third place, now, this is an interesting one, because it's quite different from the other ones I have, but at number 3, we've got Slay the Spire by Megacrit. Now, Slay the Spire is a roguelike deck builder game that combines card game mechanics with strategic dungeon crawling. It would be quite different from other games that I've got here, with the roguelike system being that it's supposed to be a different experience every run. It's randomized within parameters, and then you attack by building these decks. So you've got cards with all these different skills and attacks on them. You've got your mana pool, like in any traditional like tabletop card game, but it's then all visualized on the screen as you're crawling through this dungeon, playing these cards. And it can get really intricate with like all the items that you can get. You can make all these different builds, exciting builds. It really gives a lot of player agency in that sense. Encouraging you to go back and challenge yourself and play it over and over again. It really is one of those games that you spend too many hours on, but it's so worth it.
It seems like an old school version of Hearthstone.
Yeah.
I just looked it up.
Kind of. More immersive, actually.
Yeah, so take like the idea of Hearthstone, but instead of playing against another player, you're playing against like the computer, as it were, and they're visualized as like an RPG combat. It's like your character facing off against them. They've got attacks using against you, and you're sending out all these cards, trying to combo them, and eventually get to the top of the spire where you fight the heart of the spire, and well, basically, you've really got to hope you've got a good build by that point, because it is very, very difficult to actually complete a run.
And there is also a tabletop game?
Yes, there is. That came out fairly recently, I believe, and my friends do actually own it, but we've been waiting for us to all get together to open it up and play it, which just hasn't happened yet, but I can't wait for that as well. And Slay the Spire 2 has been announced. It's on the horizon. Definitely something to keep your eyes out for.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. I do like card games because I like focusing on the details. For example, the arts on the cards. I just always love collecting the nicest ones, and it's really nice playing
Not-
card games. I do like them.
And also the combinations you can do with these cards and the strengths, and that's amazing. I love card
Yeah.
games.
Both very valid points. Cards, like as an art, they're just beautiful things. They're wonderful to collect. They're just wonderful to hold. So presenting a different form of combat through those is really interesting. And yes, the combinations, the sky is the limit. You can
Mhm.
even challenge yourself by doing things that may not seem very good and may not be very good, but if you're if you're insistent enough, if you know the game well enough, I'm sure you can come out on top.
So you don't need to buy any decks. You just get the game and you have all the cards available.
Not quite, no. So you buy the game, and then you'll go on your little voyages. So there's 4 different characters to choose from, each with different like sets of decks, and you'll get to a certain point in the Spire. You will likely die, but you'll have enough experience to level up, and upon leveling up, you'll get new cards that you can add into each hero's deck.
What are the options of the heroes? That's the most important one for us.
Okay, so you've got the Ironclad. Now, the Ironclad is just your big strength, gonna beat you up. He's got some cool synergies with like sacrificing his own health to do more damage and such. There's the Silent, which is she's a poisoner sort of deck. She throws a lot of ninja things, poisons enemies, just some really underhanded tactics. You've got the Defect, which is a broken down Spire robot. There's some really complicated technology-based decks you can do with the Defect. A lot of things going on, but that's actually my favorite one to play. Just with like the amount of things, you can feel like all of your buffs and your hand itself are just rotating into itself. And it just plays itself. And then there's the Watcher, who wasn't in the original game, but was added at a later point. I'm not really sure how to play the Watcher. They're really confusing, but I do believe they are like the most broken character in the game.
I guess there is a lot of grinding in this game.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of grinding, but it's a different path each time, so you really make it for yourself.
It doesn't get boring.
I do like the Poisoner. I like the sound of that.
Yes, you should play a silent run soon then.
I'll try maybe. But we're almost there. We're almost at the top. So who got second place on your list?
So second place has to go to one of my very favorites, Blasphemous, by the Game Kitchen. So Blasphemous is a rich and brutal Metroidvania-style game drenched in Catholic Gothic horror. If you're a fan of Metroidvania games, such as any Castlevania game or any Metroid game, as it's in the name, or even games like Dark Souls and such, if you like the brutal, hard combat with like the dark atmosphere and just the process of trying to beat these enemies that seem insurmountable, Blasphemous is a fantastic game for that.
The music of that game, I swear, it's just amazing. It's so gothic.
I haven't played it, but it seems dark.
Dark is a good way to put it. And that's another way that it like takes from the Dark Souls side of things, is that it's a world full of like all this deep dark lore that you wouldn't necessarily see from, it's not necessarily told to you, but you can see the narrative and world building through every sprite, every nook and cranny, every enemy you face really. There's some way that they're tangled within this sort of world that they've built. And yes, it's all very brutal. It's all quite grim, but who doesn't love a story that doesn't move you like that, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So, if that was your second one, I wonder which is your first one.
Oh, okay. Are you ready for this?
Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yay!
At number 1, we have the classic by Toby Fox. It is indeed Undertale.
Oh my! I love Undertale.
Undertale, when that game came out, now that's over 10 years ago. It felt like that thing that everyone played and everyone was talking about. And honestly, a lot of people were so put off by the hype that it was getting. They didn't play it. I've spoken to so many people that haven't, but I maintain that as an RPG with all of its whimsy, nostalgia, heartwarming encounters, ups and downs, the music, the combat, the way you don't have to fight anything, but you can choose to, getting a different story route with each of them, all of this together, it is just the top indie game for me. And I think it probably always will be.
I loved Sans in the
Everyone
Undertale.
loves Sans. The funny skeleton.
I haven't played it.
It's amazing. It's so inspiring and so it really captures your attention. Even though it seems so I don't know, it doesn't have any details, it's just a pixel game.
Mm-hmm.
But still it has depth. I don't know.
It's got a lot of depth. And yes, it was a very, very small team. So it was Toby Fox himself that made the game with a few commissions from other people. And it was made on Game Maker, which is quite an accessible system. A lot of game devs won't use Game Maker because they would find it limiting. But yes, Toby took this to Game Maker. Visually, yeah, it's whatever. Maybe not the best, but the narrative, the way it grabs you, the way it knows how to be serious, followed by silly, and it never drags on anything for too long. It just keeps you there in the moment. And then, oh my goodness, the boss battles, each with a different mechanic, each with like its own music. It's just a homage to like really good staple games of the genre, of the RPG genre, but more specifically, the non-traditional RPG genre.
And I also love that you had the opportunity to choose what you want to say.
Yes, absolutely. Like player agency is always a good thing in these games. And whilst the story itself, maybe in these conversations, your input might not mean much and things just seem to happen around you, that's fine because there's other things in the game that you can influence, like how you interact with the monsters. Such like getting the neutral ending, the pacifist ending, or the ever-dreaded genocide ending.
No, it's so much fun. A friend of mine introduced me to Undertale many years back. At first I don't know if I like pixelated games so much. And he was like, trust me, play it, give it a chance. And then I was like, thank you for telling me.
It's so good. And it's also really inspiring because Toby himself started making like mods for other games, such as Earthbound, and Undertale was like his first proper standalone game. Obviously, that took off. He went on to make Deltarune, which is still in the process of chapters coming out, very closely linked with Undertale. But he really just took the spotlight after these titles, and he was even hired by Nintendo, the Pokemon company, to make soundtrack for them. So in the two most recent mainline Pokemon games, there are songs from Toby Fox. So it's really inspiring that you can see how someone starts and follow their journey. And who knows if he's where he wants to be, but it's a lot of game devs' dream to have such a curve of success, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I might give it a go, but you know that I'm not a big fan of pixelated games. But if this story is good, it might make me want to play more.
It is, indeed. You you do need to try this because I'm not a pixelated fan either. But trust me, it's very, very good.
Well, since we got your top 5, I think we should share our favorite ones. Zeffie, what do you think?
Ooh, I like that.
I didn't believe, to be fair, that I would be able to mention one myself, as I don't consider myself to be a big gamer anymore, or
a decisive person, let's say.
Yeah. But for me, the Trine series by Frozen Byte has been one of my all-time favorite game series. Frozen Byte is a Finnish independent game studio, and I thought I should give them a shout for creating such great co-op games. Trine is a mystical, atmospheric, whimsical game franchise. I would even call it indie creativity at its best. For someone who's not great with puzzles like myself, having the option to play this game with someone else made things so much easier and fun for me. You can either play as a thief, a wizard, or a knight, and you follow their story through solving puzzles using real-world physics logic, levers, ropes, gravity. The fairy tale aesthetic with the vibrant colors, the lush environments, and the magical details offer a whimsical, immersive world, and I was so impressed with the music and narration as well. It brings so much nostalgia remembering playing all 4 of them. I haven't played the 5th one yet. But if you know about Trine, you should also check Nine Parchments. It's also by Frozen Byte. It has the same vibe, so I certainly recommend it. But the first 3 games hit different, I have to say.
Personally, I haven't played this one.
It's really good.
It sounds great, and also now that I'm searching for it, I love the color palette they use.
It's so it feels so magical, and it's just the music as well. It's just it hits hard. It just brings me so much nostalgia.
Jamie, have you played it?
I've not, but I've heard a decent amount about it now. Yeah, no, it sounds really good. I think the most intimidating thing for me is that there's 5 of them, did you say?
There are 3 of them on Trine. You have to choose one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And on Nine Parchments, I think there are 5. I'm not sure because I haven't finished it, to be honest. But it's the fact that you can play with other people, that is just the best for me. It was so fun, such a fun experience to try and solve puzzles like with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just think that everyone should know about Frozen Byte.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Good.
Maybe
What about you, Zephy?
I would choose Greece by Nomada Studio because this game is one of those rare gems, rare games actually, that leaves an impact to you. It's a platformer game, but it's a quiet, emotional journey full of amazing watercoloring, movement, music, and what I love most about it is how it doesn't need words to make you feel something deep. And every scene feels like a painting, and it's about grief and healing, and actually the whole process of loss. And it really made me feel a little more at peace with my own messy emotions back then. It's an artistic game. I really love the depth and the care these people have put into this. They have also released another one, which is called Neva, and it's on my wish list. I haven't been able to play it though yet, but I will for sure in the future. The art is amazing for Greece, let me say.
It looks so May-coded.
Yes, it is. I have no words for this game. I have no words. And since we're talking about indie games, I am really excited for an upcoming game on Steam called Puppy's Playhouse. And it's a multiplayer card game, and the whole vibe reminds me of a night out in Palermo mixed with a bit of Russian roulette, but set in a smoky jazz club with cards, secrets, and bluffing, of course. So you get to pick a character to play as, like a cop or the mafia boss or whoever else, and your goal basically is to be the last one left at the table. It's funny, it's chaotic, it's super interactive, and I honestly can't wait to try it with friends and see who survives this madness. So Puppy's Playhouse is coming soon on Steam, and if you're into cool indie games made by passionate people, definitely throw it on your wish list, and maybe, just maybe, you'll hear a familiar voice in there too.
Oh, exciting. That does sound very good. So is it like a social deduction sort of game?
Yeah, and it's going to be amazing. I hope it's going to be amazing. Because
definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, at first you play with your friends. What is more amazing than that?
Absolutely. It makes every experience better, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Especially if you're so competitive as I am.
Well, you know what? If you get furious, you have weapons on the table, so you can use them wisely.
Oh, that's good. And also the teasing. Are we going to hear you? We're going to hear your voice in this game.
I don't know. You'll find out soon enough.
Okay. So we'll be looking forward to see I'm going to be checking Steam constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I also wanted to ask you, Jamie, what are your plans for the future, and what kind of game would you like to create yourself, since you've told us about your top 5 indie games?
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, so going forward in the future, I'm sure there will be a lot of development projects for me. Obviously, still being in school, I'm trying to beef out my portfolio with different things, a lot of development, production, audio programming, and all that sort of thing. But yes, for the moment, it will be just make as many projects as I can, make my portfolio look nice. I'm actually starting up work on a summer project with some of my classmates for a game that we're calling Hollowing. Now, this is going to be a dreamscapey, surreal horror game that's set in the Feywild. Now, when we think of when we think of Feywild, there's obviously like lots of colors, lots of fairies and stuff, but it's not so much that kind of Feywild, more the twisted, darker, surreal, uncomprehendable side of it. And it's going to feature a character that's trapped there and trying their very best to get out.
Is it going to be pixelated?
It's going to be a 3D game.
Oh.
3D, probably first person. I really wanted to bring this feeling of maybe if you're going to end up getting chased by something, you can feel it happening. But graphics wise, I really am drawn to the sort of PS2, PSX era sort of games. Back in the day when horror games came out in those, like old Resident Evils and Silent Hills. I think the graphical quality really lended something to the horror atmosphere, something about those saturated, maybe lower poly tones. You remember those? Yeah, they are scary, aren't they? They really lend something to the horror aspect. So that's the sort of look and feel we're going to be going for this game. I'm not sure if it'll come out on any platforms. At the moment, it is a project, but the great thing about being a game dev student is you can release any one of your projects at any time. You probably want to make sure it's good enough for people to buy it, but you can just throw things on Steam quite easily. So who knows what'll happen.
Well, we've seen your work, and it is incredible, the least to say. So we are both looking forward to see all these projects that you are currently working on and you are going to work on in the future.
There are so many projects to look forward to, I guess. Keep an eye for Poppy's Playhouse as well on Steam. And maybe in a few months we'll see some of your projects on Steam as well, Jamie.
Absolutely. Well, I can only try my best. We'll see what time permits. But yes, I'm glad you're looking forward to it.
Well, thank you so much for being here today with us. It's really inspiring to see you talking about all these independent game companies and their creations, knowing that one day you'll become one of them. We wish you all the best in your future as a game developer, and we can't wait to see what you have to offer to the world.
Thank you very much.
So many wonderful stuff ahead. I can see them clearly. And trust me, I have the third eye. So if I see it, it will become true.
100% true.
So thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us today, and all of you guys for being here once again. But before we wrap this up, please tell us, did you know any of these games or companies? Let us know in the comments. What's your favorite indie game and why? And thanks again for being here. And until our next episode, may all your rolls be a natural 20. Bye!
Bye!
Bye!